This is the Resident Evil Requiem running on the ROG Ally Extreme at over 70 FPS. Which honestly sounds ridiculous for a handheld that is now almost 3 years old. But there's a catch. The only way this works is with frame generation enabled and aggressive upscaling. So the real question is it actually playable? Let's take a look. Before jumping into gameplay, let me quickly show the setup so everything is transparent. The Ally is running in 25-watt turbo mode with the stock charger, and I've allocated 7 GB of VRAM. I've also tried this on my external monitor capped at 1080p 60Hz just to see the image quality. And just to mention, the gameplay is filmed directly from the screen because using a capture card reduced the available wattage on the Ally, which affected performance. So this is the most accurate way to show the results. Now let's get back to the Ally. The settings here are mostly low at 1080p with FSR 3.1 set to performance and frame generation enabled. Without frame generation, the Ally struggles quite a bit, but with it enabled, things get interesting. In actual gameplay, the frame rate mostly sits between 60 to 70 FPS, sometimes even going a bit higher depending on the scene. And this right here is one of the most taxing scenes in this game. What surprised me more is that the frame pacing feels fairly smooth, even during combat. GPU usage stays close to 100%, which is what we expect here since Ally is doing everything it can to keep the frame rate up. There are occasional dips into the high 50s, but overall the experience is surprisingly playable for a handheld device. I also did a quick comparison between FSR 3 and FSR 4. Visually, FSR 4 does appear slightly sharper in some areas, especially around the edges and small details, especially like fences and all that. But in terms of performance on the Ally, the difference is fairly huge. The main takeaway here is that ideally it's better to stick with FSR 3 because the performance uplift is quite a bit, 20 to 30%, and you will definitely be using frame generation for most of the heavy lifting. I also tried running the game at lower wattage to see if it remains playable. So this is 15 watts on the Ally Extreme. As expected, the frame rate does drop a bit, but still it's fairly playable taking into consideration that 30 FPS on handhelds are mostly playable. The performance at 15 watt is somewhat comparable to FSR 4. So if you want to play this game on Ally, 25 watt or 30 watt turbo is the best way, but you can also use the 15 watt unplugged and it still does a fairly decent job, especially combined with frame generation. We get good FPS. So can the ROG Ally Extreme run Resident Evil Requiem? Technically, yes, but only with frame generation and aggressive upscaling settings. Still, getting around 60 FPS in a modern AAA game like this on a handheld is actually pretty impressive. Next, I will also, if possible, make a best settings video for the RTX 5060 laptop and probably compare it with the handheld to see what kind of difference in performance there is. And if you're interested in more handheld performance tests, make sure you subscribe to this channel.